Hey guys,
Hi
welcome
everyone.
to the Uni Life and Mature Minds with Janet.
And Carly.
And in today's segment, we are going to talk about acceptance. This one was really, so I had a conversation that happened not too long ago, Carly, and it really got me thinking. It was around really close friends that we know, and I was finding it really challenging to be around these close friends. And so I asked one of my other girlfriends, I said, oh, how do you deal with these people, because they're quite negative, and sometimes some of the things that they say are really like they're personal attacks. And I found it really hard to be around them, and it got to the point where I just wasn't saying anything because I didn't know what to say. And it was like every time you would say something, they would just turn it, like it's almost like they would turn your words on you. And so my girlfriend said to me, oh, I just accept them for who they are. And I sat there and I felt like I had to defend myself, because I was like, well, it's not that I haven't accepted them for who they are. I feel I do, but I'm just shocked in how they behave. And to me, I feel that is two separate things.
Absolutely.
Your thoughts?
So I think and this is the thing, everybody sort of goes in accepting someone, you're accepting the whole of them. You can accept someone and still not agree with their ideals, their thoughts, their behaviours, their morals, but go, okay, I accept that they just are the way they are. It doesn't necessarily have to sit comfortably with you, but I think it just takes away some of that angst and pressure to just go, you know what, whether I agree or disagree, they are who they are, and I accept that they're that way, and that I can't change them, but I can change how I react to them. So we don't really have the power to change anyone, but we can change how we interact or react with them, whether we choose to spend time with them or not.
I find that really interesting that you say that, because the way I've chosen to react is by not saying anything. And see, I challenged myself as to whether that was right, whether by not saying anything was even the right thing to do, because it's out of character for me. Quite a bubbly, how you going, friendly, conversation starter
person.
So I was getting to these social events and I wasn't saying anything, and I had a discussion with some coaches around this, and to what you said, to support your point there, she said to me, my coach said to me, why does it have to be right or wrong? Why can't it just be that you're observing? And I thought, I really love that, because I was really at battle with myself whether I was right, whether my behaviour was right or wrong. And she says, well, you're purely just observing how other people around you are behaving. And I thought, gosh, I really love that. And so with one particular friend, I'm like super challenged with this particular friend, and it's gotten to the point where I almost don't want to be around them because of their energy and their negativity.
That emotional vampire. I was just talking about them too.
And they just suck your energy, and like the whole narcissistic way this person talks to me. And so one of the other things that I love what my coach said to me was, because people were like, oh, Janet, you should be really you should be really grateful, or you should be really just thankful that they are there to support you. And I thought to myself, it's not that I'm not. And then my coach said to me, but why does grateful have to come with suffering?
Suffering and compromise and feeling inauthentic.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't.
Right.
I don't think it should.
And I love that. And it wasn't until I was like, you can be grateful. And I am grateful for that friend. But that doesn't mean that I have to suffer
No.
because that friend has got issues that they're going through that they need to work out, that are personal issues that I can't,
They're then projecting onto you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And, maybe my own fault for allowing it
Yeah.
as well. And so I sit there and I go, well, how do I not allow this? And the only way I can, at this stage in my life, is not allow it, is to not associate myself with it.
I actually read a quote this morning that said, we can't change the people around us, but we can change the people around us. And I thought that is really poignant.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we can't change people, but we can change how we interact with them or how we react to them and our own feelings and our own emotions and our own actions. We have control over those. So I thought that was a really, really good point.
Well, an interesting part to this as well is one of my girlfriends said to me, Janet, you've just got to forgive that person as well for what they've done. And I find myself really having to sit there and think about these recommendations or these feedback that people are giving me when I'm being quite vulnerable in my state. And I sit there and I go, I understand and I agree that forgiveness is a key to passing, but at this point I need to be in the phase of processing and sitting with my uncertainty to determine why I'm uncertain, and then once I understand what feelings are generated for me when I'm interacting with that person, right?
Yeah.
I can then sit with that feeling and go, oh, is it because of this that I'm feeling this? And it's not until I can sit with that emotion and process that and then work out ways on how I can become resilient to that feeling that I can then go to the forgiveness stage.
Yeah.
Well, some people think, oh, that person said really nice things to you, you should just forgive them. And it's like, well, you can't go from hurt to forgiveness straight away.
No, you need to process.
And no one tells you that.
Emotions behind.
No one tells you that in between.
And I was actually speaking to my daughter last night because
Congratulations, Abby.
there's a particular person at her school who really frustrates her and really annoys her, and she gets quite angry at this person. And I was trying to explain to her that anger's, even though it's a completely human and valid emotion, that anger doesn't actually do us any justice. So that person is going home at night time, not giving it a second thought of their behaviours, but we're giving them power by being angry at them because they're now encroaching on our home life and on how we're feeling outside of that situation. So I was trying to have a conversation with her that's saying you don't have to validate their behaviour, you don't have to say that it's okay by your standards, but just accept that what you say to them is not going to change their behaviour, and don't waste your energy on emotions like anger that are more detrimental to you than they are to them.
And when that person is carrying on the way they're carrying on, it's more about what's happening to that person than to you. And whilst you may be feeling that it's making you angry, really that person just has so many personal issues that they need to work through, that they don't know how to articulate socializing with you
Yes.
And so every time
Or the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and every time they're there, they just sound like they're angry all the time. And it's like, why are you angry all the time? And then, like, because I have someone like that in our circle as well, and I just thought, oh wait, okay, all right, you're going through things. You're obviously unhappy in life. Things aren't working the way you thought they would be working for you at this stage in your life. And so every time you're around, and this is one thing that I really loved with one of my girlfriends says, she says, when people are around other people that they are comfortable with, so when you're with your own family, you are your true self.
Yes.
And so this particular person was obviously very comfortable around us, and their true self came out, and it's quite nasty. And you have to sit there. And then I have to remind myself, oh, got you. You're in a space of comfort, and this is who you are.
And you're letting out those big emotions that
you don't know how to deal with.
It's taking the lid off the box.
Yeah. That you don't know how to deal with when you're not around us.
Yeah.
So you're projecting it onto us.
Yeah.
So I wonder if with Abby's friend, person, they're probably feeling comfortable around her.
Maybe.
To be able to blah.
it's a special little but yeah, we're trying to say to her, you just need to accept that the situation is the way that it is, and you need to decide where you're going to put the power.
Yeah, absolutely. And that can be,
and that's hard to explain to a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that's hard to explain to adults.
To an adult, yeah. I mean, she's quite in tune and quite smart, but yeah, they're big emotions for little people too.
Yeah.
So I did some notes.
Love it.
I know. And I bought the wrong. No. I grabbed the wrong list. Okay, I can't find my notes.
Can you
That's right, I can remember some
a little bit.
Yeah.
Share us.
Okay.
Share.
So one of the things about acceptance is we're all about. Usually, when we think of acceptance, we think about other people and accepting other people and other situations.
Yes.
I think one of the hardest things with acceptance is accepting ourselves.
Absolutely.
And being able to sit with ourselves and be comfortable with ourselves.
I'm just getting excited right now. I'm trying really hard not to interrupt.
No,
keep going.
Interrupt, that's fine.
Keep going.
But I think we put a bit of a negative spin on accepting ourselves. So we go, okay, but if I accept myself as I am now, is this the best version of me?
Oh.
And am I giving up?
Oh.
No, you're not giving up. You're just saying, I accept where I am now. In this space, in this time, I'm comfortable with who I am. I know that I have growing to do, learning to do, whatever, but accepting yourself in that moment is such a powerful thing.
And to support what you're saying, love it. And to support what you're saying in the coaching world, there's 3 versions of you. There is past Carly, current Carly, and future Carly. So what we do, for example, using Carly as the example, is to support Carly's point, is things happen with past Carly. And you see, current Carly judges that past Carly. So for example, if you're never good at, maths, you go, oh, I was never good at maths. And what our brains do is our brains are so good at justifying. So they revert to your past to justify why you're no good at it now in current mode. But what we need to do is we need to look into our future selves. So we have to create that future self. What do you want your future self to look like? So future self Carly says, I'm fantastic at maths. When I go to America, I can calculate 10% GST for, the tips. Then you will manifest that. You will learn that. And current Carly will take the steps to learn how to become future Carly. So rather than referring to your past, it's important to refer to your future because that's who you're going to be. But our mind, the human brain, automatically defaults to the past. And the reason why it's important to accept ourselves is when we look at our past, we may not like it. We may not like the things we've done, the choices we've made. But the importance of accepting our past self is because that is the healing process to then be in the moment of your current self and then be able to then move into your future self.
Absolutely. And it's all about re-triggering those neural pathways.
Yeah.
So, you can't teach old dog new tricks. You most certainly can.
Yeah.
We can all reprogram our brains. It's about being consistent with our habits. So, same with acceptance of situation, gratitude, that kind of thing. If you practice these things every day, hello Miss Friday, you are creating new neural pathways within your brain. Now they say that it takes about 10,000 times to actually create a new neural and positive pathway within your brain. So it can be done. It's all about consistency, changing your habits, positive thoughts, and concentrating on where you want to be. So acceptance isn't about giving up, it's about being comfortable where you are at now, but seeing the potential of the future and knowing that where you are right now is a stepping stone, darling, on the way to that.
She's farted.
Oh, thank you.
No one can smell it, but we can. It's terrible. Now she's farted. She's
like,
really smelling this. Yeah. That's terrible, farting.
Yeah. So it's all about retraining our brain.
Yeah.
Those steps of gratitude and acceptance, and accepting that some things we can change, some things we can't change. She loves them.
Down, Baba. Down.
Come on. And just because we accept something doesn't mean that we agree with it.
Yeah.
We can accept that a person's from
agree to disagree.
A different, coming from a different perspective, or we can accept different habits or morals or religious beliefs. It doesn't mean we have to necessarily agree with them, but we can show people respect and acceptance of their differences.
Yes.
And I think that's the most important thing of acceptance, is accepting ourselves and accepting people the way they are without imposing our judgments on them, whether we agree or not.
Yeah. And to end on your point, perhaps we don't accept things because obviously we don't understand it. And when Carly says, having that pause to go, okay, I don't agree with it, which doesn't necessarily mean that you aren't accepting them, but maybe it's because we don't understand it, and it's not until we get to that point in life where we experience something where we go, oh, that's why that person blah.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important before we jump to something.
Yes.
Because we're not experts in life. And I'm guilty of going, as if you do that or as if you do that. And it's not until I have a conversation with someone that I'm like, oh, you actually don't know. That's why you did that.
And I think it's a lot about perspective and being able to kind of see things from other people's point of view, but a lot of lack of acceptance comes from, as you said, fear of the unknown, fear of, well, if they believe that and I'm friends with them, how is that going to affect me, or how is that going to what effect is that going to have on my life, and how is that going to impact on my family's life, instead of going, you know what, if that's what, for example, that person chooses to practice in their own home, that's fine. Like, live and let live. Let people be as they are, and just accept that their point of view is different from mine.
I agree, and absolutely, because it questions your truth as well, and you sit there going, oh, is my truth the truth, or is your truth the truth?
And that's not necessarily always a bad thing either. I think it's good to constantly reflect and question where our thoughts and our behaviours and our morals have come from, and whether maybe ours could do with a little tweaking here and there, because maybe through experience or whatever, ours may have gone a little offline. So I think that constant challenge of differences is a good thing.
It's a good thing if your ego isn't so big.
Yes.
But if you've got a huge ego, oh my gosh, my way or the highway.
Never be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need to be open to it. And you need to
check in with your ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Be able to explore those differences, look into them. It may not be for you. It's a bit like the Cinderella story, isn't it? The shoe's not always going to fit on the foot, but sometimes questioning it and trying it might help you think of things in a different way, and that acceptance level might grow.
And you'll find your own prints.
Yeah, you'll create new neural pathways.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've shed some light on acceptance there for you. If you agree or disagree, feel free to chime in. We'll be interested to read or hear your thoughts as well. But in the meantime, stay safe through COVID, and we'll see you again.
See you later. Take care, everyone. Bye.